What do you say, baseball fans? Rye Bread, Talking Baseball, Episode 4. We got a lot to get to today. You know I like to jump right in. Braves robbed at home. MLB pooped a bed. They had so much to work with yesterday, and it was squandered. Umpire ego, give me a break. If you cannot correct your colleague, you are a bad employee, period, no matter what your job is. And then it's not all doom and gloom. JD Martinez was awesome yesterday. Uh, Brent Honeywell Jr. was awesome yesterday. He had me in tears. I told you before I'm soft when it comes to that. That guy deserved it, and he just went perfect 2 innings. So awesome. And then Walker came in and blew up on the mound. But back to the top of the story here. The Braves were robbed at home by a terrible call, a brutal call. And when you say brutal about an umpire call, that's serious business. I realize what I'm saying when I say that it's brutal. The guy missing the call at the plate, of course you can understand that. It's a bang-bang play. These guys are fast. Acuna beat out a ground ball to shortstop for a base hit. People need to understand that you can't fault an umpire for missing the bang-bang, but you can fault an umpire for completely blowing it on replay. You don't need a lot of training or experience to know what you saw on that video. The guy's cleat never caught the plate. It wasn't even close. They have the technology to get the correct answer, and now it seems to be you can't show up the umpire because he was right on top of the play. What a difficult call. The guy did everything right. He was in the right spot. You can't fault him for missing that. You can fault the guy for saying, I'm afraid to tell my coworker that he made a mistake. And it's not even a mistake. The guy did his job to the best of his ability, and there's no one else out there who could have made that call with 100% effectiveness. There's no way. You have to at least just take a guess because you can't see where the tag is. But the video shows the dude never touched the plate. Boom never touched the plate. I'm blowing that guy's name. He didn't touch the plate. And it was clear in the video. You don't need to be a professional umpire to see that. And that's why it's so discouraging. And the reason, an excuse seems to be that you don't want to show the guy up and hurt his feelings. And that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. If your ego's that fragile, you need a new profession. This is the show, like the big time. I can't imagine that we're trying to explain away why umpires aren't using this correctly because they feel bad for their feelings. If I was about to turn in a report at work and someone let it go by them without fixing a glaring error and then I turned it in, I would be bent. I would be so angry. Like, you want to help a brother out here? What are you doing, man? Just leaving me in the breeze? And that's what they did. This was as bad as it could be. And with all those positive storylines going, they just could not get out of their own way yesterday. And it started pretty early with just not marketing Scherzer and Kershaw like, shh, two of the best we got are going today. Let's not tell anyone. And then this thing with Brent Honeywell Jr., this just odyssey adventure of surgeries and hard work to get back and just perform so well. And then the Yankees go and just kind of squat all over it because they're hitting Meadows twice. They hit him after a warning. Like, have a little respect for the situation, man. The Yankees, I was not pleased. That was not the best look for them. But there's bad blood there, and I think it's pretty much the whole division. Boston, New York, and Tampa Bay have not been friendly recently. So it's not unexpected, but you could have pushed pause for a minute there in hindsight. But that's baseball. But to finish that up, to bow on it, umpires with these ego problems are really causing a real situation. It's not going to fix itself. unless it's recognized that you're allowed to help somebody out. C.B. Buckner is employed as a Major League Baseball umpire. You're telling me you're worried about missing a bang bang call and losing work? This guy has made a living of poor judgment calls. I'm not trying to take a run at the guy, but my goodness, like over and over. If casual sports fans know your name as an umpire, that's not good. That's the last thing you want as an umpire, is for the casual sports fan to know your name. And the only reason they do is because you've blown it so many times. But let's not miss the positive. J.D. Martinez crushing. 3 bombs. It's always fun when a guy's doing something like that. And then Brent Honeywell Jr., of course. The thing about J.D.'s home runs, the Baltimore pitching staff's getting a bit of a reputation. And I know their yard is kind of small, but it's not even summer. When it heats up, what's going to happen to the baseball in that yard? Wow, it's going to be even worse. It's like a batting cage. I know Cincinnati's the bandbox, but I think Baltimore's pitching has contributed to them giving up, obviously, so many bombs, but the yard's not helping. And finally, I can't let it go without mentioning the Mets are a menace. The Mets are a menace. They ruined a generation of arms. I mean, Matt Harvey had his own thing going with his extracurricular activities, but even that they could have helped avoid once they knew he was going off the deep end. They had a whole crew of people looking after Josh Hamilton. When Hamilton was on the road, they had like 24-hour supervision on the guy. And I'm not saying that if I was the Dark Knight pitching for the Mets in New York, I can't comprehend the temptation that guy was under. And I would have probably done the same thing. Come on, I like to party. That would have been impossible to turn down. I see what happened, but if you're the Mets, you got to do something about that. I mean, Syndergaard's never been right. And then the one guy they have that is doing something, DeGrom, who's just a masterful pitcher in every regard, can't get any run support. I mean, the Mets starting that game in the typhoon is impossible to understand. They have to have learned their lesson about player safety by now, and they clearly haven't. It's a joke how badly that has gone. The Mets cannot get out of their own way. It's a disgrace. There's no way that game should have been started. Those dudes were at risk of getting hurt for no reason whatsoever. It was a complete joke. But you know me, positivity rules the day. Let's keep it on Brent Honeywell Jr. and his just awesome performance. And don't forget about JD's 3 bombs. You can check that out. It was fun to watch that. But check us out again. We're going to do 162.